The DreamWorks Theory. When I first came up with this idea, I never would have thought there would be a 2-month period where we get 4 to 5 new DreamWorks projects and a new DreamWorks trailer. But that's where DreamWorks is right now with Chicken Run 2, Orion in the Dark, 2 Megamind projects, Kung Fu Panda 4, and a trailer for a new film, The Wild Robot, which I will say looks incredible. So making the DreamWorks Theory has been a blessing and a curse because it's fun to build this world, but then you're led to times where you need to watch 8 episodes of a Megamind TV show that makes the world look like a spin-off of the TV show Cocomelon. Although I will say the finale of this show, not of Cocomelon, got me excited for whenever Season 2 comes out. But with the recent release of both Megamind vs. the Doom Syndicate, otherwise known as Megamind 2, and the Peacock original TV show Megamind Rules, despite ruining one of my favorite DreamWorks films for me, it continues the DreamWorks Theory and actually provides some pretty important insight into this world. So welcome to Big Flick Energy, and let's get right into it. So since this is the first time I've gone deep into how a show connects into a world, I thought it would be best to split this video into the movie and the show. So before we start, what we do know about Megamind from the first film and the short film The Button of Doom is the alien Megamind comes into this world and wreaks havoc at the same time that the alien Metro Man jumps in to be the world's hero. With a hero in this world, the government no longer needs a team of monsters like the one from Monsters vs. Aliens to save the day. Eventually, Megamind becomes the hero of Metro City and continues building technology that can now be used for good. But his heroism and technological prowess come back to bite him as we continue into the film Megamind vs. the Doom Syndicate. In this film, when Megamind's former villain team, the Doom Syndicate, returns, the newly crowned blue hero must keep up evil appearances until he can assemble his friends to stop his old teammates from launching Metro City to the moon. Now, who are these old teammates? We have Lady Dobler, who describes herself as the Lady Witch of Weather. So based off her calling herself a witch, we can assume she has these weather-controlling powers through magic, showing that there are monsters and there are aliens in this world. But similar to what we see in Troll Hunters, there are still humans that use magic as well. We then see this with the other members of the team in the forms of Pierre Pressure, who uses mind control, teleportation, and anything related to illusions, and Nighty Night, who uses shadow magic. Then to round out this team, we have Behemoth, who's a monster, but not in the traditional way as he got his powers by falling into a volcano. But as we know from Monsters vs. Aliens, not all the monsters started out as monsters, some of them started off as humans, so Behemoth is still considered a monster in that sense. But this is a detail we find out in the TV series Megamind Rules, because before this, we didn't know that he fell into a volcano. Now, another important thing we learn in the film is that Megamind 2 takes place just 2 days after the first Megamind movie, which means a couple of things. First, it means the Button of Doom takes place the day after the first Megamind movie. There has to be a day period in between. And second, it means with the advancement of tech shown throughout Megamind 2 and Megamind Rules and social media, we can pinpoint the entire Megamind franchise to actually take place in modern day. But I'll get into its place in the timeline later on. With the TV show though, there are 3 important things I noticed that add to the DreamWorks Theory. First off, Megamind drops a line that many would see as a passing joke. But if you've been following the DreamWorks Theory, you know that passing jokes are basically canon for this theory. As Megamind says word for word, "What's up with this troll business? They've been extinct for decades." Now this could be referencing one of 3 things. First, like I mentioned before, it could just be a passing joke. But he did say they've been extinct for decades. It feels like he knows something more than we do right now. Now, this could be referencing one of 2 groups based off that. Either the trolls from the movie Trolls, but we already established in an earlier video that these trolls are actually aliens and not on Earth at all. And based off Megamind coming to Earth as a baby and mentioning in the show's finale he doesn't fully understand his binky, which is the only piece of tech he has left from his home planet, I don't think he knows much of other aliens apart from Metro Man either. Which means he must be referencing the trolls from our world, which are the trolls from Troll Hunters, declaring them as extinct. But of course we know through Troll Hunters the show, they've just been in hiding. It does help connect the 2 franchises together though, in which these are the 2 franchises that show us monsters, aliens, and magic users in the modern day. So it makes sense for them to connect like this. Next, in a smaller way, There's an episode focusing on Megamind and Kiko building a robot, and this robot has some crazy artificial intelligence. But by the end of the episode, we see this robot befriends another hyper-intelligent robot, but we never find out who made this robot, and it's made to seem like it's just another random student at Kiko's school, which, if that's the case, means once again that the way tech is being developed, even by kids at this point, isn't normal, and it's replaced magic in many ways. And it's evident how magic and machinery don't mix at all, given all of the members of the Doom Syndicate, outside of the tech-based Machiavellian, who's the main antagonist of the series, they all are magic-based and none of them even know how to use a laptop. By our standards, they're idiots. But given how they use magic, it's evident they came from a different form of intelligence and they're just intelligent in a very different way, which is why they have these magic abilities. They found those abilities somehow. Speaking of intelligence though, this brings me to what may have led into the intelligence of all these animals in the DreamWorks world, which eventually leads into them taking on the humans in a war and taking Earth as their own, as I've mentioned many times in many of my videos. This brings me to the episode where Chum uses an intelligence booster spray on a cockroach accidentally, and it makes it an intelligent creature trying to take over. If this show does take place in modern day, it would be the final project before we start seeing films like the B-movie, Mr. Peabody and Sherman, and The Bad Guys, which all take place in a future where animals can talk like humans, something we first see in Monsters vs. Aliens with Dr. Cockroach, again in Wizard's Tales of Arcadia with Archie, and in this show with the army of cockroaches being able to speak. Now obviously we saw it with Puss in Boots and Donkey in the Shrek franchise, but we'll get into that later. Now, with the army of the cockroaches, they do lose, but we find out their intentions are to take over the world and to make humans pay for everything they've put them through. Something which definitely follows in line with how I've described the reason behind the animal-human war. The roaches do lose at the end of the episode, but what's to say this spray isn't accidentally used on bees in the future, which leads to this uber-intelligent bee society that have their own cars and 9-to-5 jobs. What's to say the spray isn't accidentally used on a dog, leading to Mr. Peabody, but because dogs are loved by humans, Mr. Peabody never tried to take over the world and instead made technology for the world. And what's to say an animal got the idea to get the spray and give all animals this human-level intelligence to all seek to eventually fight in this war. We've known this world to have talking animals through Puss in Boots and Donkey in the past, and given the way Puss can blend in with normal cats, they most likely survived the monster hunt by King Arthur as seen in Troll Hunters. They lived on until the day there was a proper game plan to take back what was theirs. We obviously see them acting out against humans in projects like Madagascar, Over the Hedge, and Turbo, showing that they can be superior in some ways. But it's not until the B-movie that we start to see them actually going up against the humans and saying we're on your same level. And I believe Megamind Rules may have actually shown us what the sign the animals got for a proper game plan was through the intelligence booster spray, where there are obviously still some pretty dumb animals in some of these projects in modern day, but with the intelligence booster, it sets all these creatures at the same level. So, with building out the lore for this world and how magic still thrives in the world today through the villains, how Megamind knows of trolls but believes they're extinct, how tech has evolved in this world, and how magical creatures may have found a way to take on the humans, Megamind 2 and Megamind Rules, while disappointing stories in this world, definitely expand out the DreamWorks theory. With that though, we can get into the timeline for the franchise, and as discussed before, given the state of social media in this world and knowing it takes place 2 days after the first Megamind film, we'll be bringing the full Megamind franchise to take place right before the B-movie, Mr. Peabody and Sherman, Shark Tale, and The Bad Guys, which is where animals have reached human-level intellect and societies, possibly due to Megamind's intelligence booster spray. And it takes place right after Madagascar and Turbo, which are 2 stories showing how animals are starting to rise up and become more intelligent but don't have the capacity to speak, and Orion in the Dark and Ruby Gilman, which are just 2 films that take place in the modern day. And I will say Ruby Gilman is a character that sort of traverses both worlds of human and magical creatures, so if you're interested in learning more about her story and how it fits into this world, you can find the video here on my channel. With that though, we have 2 new entries into the DreamWorks theory, so thank you for watching this video. I want to know down in the comments if you've seen the show and the movie, and what your thoughts are on them, and what your thoughts are on my theories for how it ties into the franchise and into this larger world. Also, tune in next week as we'll be doing the last DreamWorks Theory video for a while until we get The Wild Robot out in theaters in September. So next week, we'll discuss where Kung Fu Panda 4 fits into this world. And after that, I think I can finally do my video on what my film to close out the DCU would be. And I know I've been saying I'm going to make this video as my next video for a long time, so I'm really hoping nothing comes up where after the Kung Fu Panda video, I can make that video. So, thanks again. Can't wait to show you guys what I have in the works, and see you next time on Big Flick Energy.